This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular, dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans. That's all it counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Hey, folks. Welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. I'm James Boyd. Over me, I have Rich Latta. What's going on, man?
Man, I'm pissed. And I am pissed at technology, at stream keys, at OBS, all this shit not linking up the right way. So we will not have video again this week. I don't know what happened. The internet's been running a little shoddy for a couple days up here. But yeah, I had to reset all my Twitch passwords and all that. So I'm going to work on that throughout the week. So next week we can come back with, our regular video and everything like that. So, but besides that, I'm chilling, man. What's up with you?
Not too much, man. Just trying to figure out what the fuck we're going to talk about. I think there's not much.
One of them weeks, huh?
Yeah,
where not much happens. And
yeah, and we don't have a stream to ask us stuff that we can just answer to fill time with. We don't have that either. We don't have that luxury.
We don't have the chat, man. I feel bad for the Twitch chat. What are they doing this Monday night? I have no idea what these deviants are getting into now that they don't have the thing to keep them off the streets, James.
Oh God, you're talking like Ray Lewis now.
The evil, which you may call crime, they may be out committing crime because they can't be on the live chat right now, James. Technology has done this, has failed us. Like we have, all our folks, and they give us great energy. So we're gonna work hard and get that, corrected and all that. This all kind of happened in like the last hour before I was trying to get started, and it just was not working. So I was like, I don't know what's going on here. But man, we'll pay some bills real quick. I was on Tunnel Talk last week. I recorded that show last Thursday. I believe it came out Wednesday. And that was a fun show. For anybody that hasn't heard it yet, goes about 90 minutes, and I'm on there with some great questions being asked by our hosts Leah and Allie and Ann, and it was just like, good.
The Miro and Brandon Cutler date scenario was fucking wild.
Yeah.
I what?
No idea.
Yeah.
I was just coming off the top, freestyling, baby.
It was hilarious. It was funny.
Yeah, so make sure you guys check out that show. But yeah, man, there's as we mentioned, it's a light week. We got One Nation Radio Awards coming up soon. James and I are probably going to convene over the next day or so. Take a look at these things. Of course, normally our awards, them just come out late as hell, but it actually might come out at a decent time because it ain't shit to do. FOH is already recorded. In the can. I didn't get your thoughts on the FOH this year, James.
Jeremy sent us an advance copy like normal, and I did not realize that I was that drunk that early.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. What? Why is everything I'm listening to myself? Like, why am I having a hard time understanding what I'm saying? I was like, oh, that's a problem. That's a problem. I haven't listened through all of it yet, but I just at the beginning I was like, man, it's. So I remember actually like as the show went along, like felt like I felt better, but like it's one thing to experience it there and then you're hearing it and you're like, oh, it was worse than I thought it was at the beginning. So hopefully, like as the show goes along, as I'm listening to it, it gets better. But like I was in a not bad shape. I've been way drunker than that, right? Like I wasn't gonna throw up anything, but it was like
right. I
did not have my mind frame on like the control that I had as I was doing this show. It was one of those things where it's like, oh, I just say any old thing. This is a FOH. It was like, yeah, it's FOH, but that boy sound drunk. That boy sound real drunk.
I don't think I lost my mind as much as 2022, where I'm just like, I just start going off and burying people and everything. But there's still some real good rants on there and outbursts and one-liners, I think, that are going to make for a good time. So if you don't, I kind of forgot to mention this last week. So like we drink during FOH. Not everyone. We're not telling everyone, hey, you need to drink too or whatever. If you indulge in adult beverages, go ahead and do that. I know some people, it's thing that, they just don't get down with that. Yeah. If not, do something else, smoke some weed or, or do something, to whatever you do to put your mind at ease, do that during FOH. So
this man is saying, if you don't listen to the show, you need to alter your mind. I think the show is good enough to where it's still funny, even if you're sober, but like, if that's something you want to do, is a week, you're listening over the holidays, there's some travel there, or whatever else. If you got some free time or whatever else, all I would say is, I imagine it would enhance the experience. That's all I would say. Whatever it is that you may do, it would enhance the experience. I don't think it would. I don't think it's necessary, but I think it would enhance.
Yeah, man. So as I mentioned, it's a light week. So luckily, a topic kind of fell out the sky with some news that popped up. It has been reported by Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful Select that Seth Rollins will become a free agent rather soon in 2024. I think it may be like the first part of the year or no later than June, something like that. And I think this immediately hit the timeline, and I kind of laughed, and I was like, immediately, James, I was like, yes, Seth Rollins is coming up on free agency. I need him to immediately be locked down right now. 10-year contract by Nick Khan, Vince McMahon, Triple H. Let's let him, show his loyalty to that family, and let's keep him right where he at, lock him up for the long haul. That boy love WWE, and let's hold him to it, James.
Let's hold him to it. Yeah, man. I didn't have those exact thoughts, but I had a similar thought where it's like, I don't really want to see him anywhere else except for WWE. No, not against him. I think. Say again, Rich.
You don't want to see Seth in the G1?
No, I don't want to see Seth in the G1 necessarily. No, especially this G1 where he's like, yeah, you put him in there and he's like,
oh, I get to be mid like normal. Oh, okay.
You put him in there with Udro, right? Evil or some shit. But nah, like, I just think he's kind of just, regardless of his background, in Ring of Honor or whatever else, like, he just kind of established himself as a WWE guy. Not to say there's anything wrong with being a WWE guy, but like, it kind of feels like he's kind of set in his ways, and it's been like that for a while now. When you watch his matches and like the kind of his kind of style, like, it just seems like that's the formula for success for him, and he's been wildly successful in WWE doing that. And like, if he wants to branch out and try something new and kind of rediscover some things or get back to or try to figure some things out wrestling other guys, if that's what he wants to do, like, more power to him. But I don't necessarily care to see him do that. I'm kind of like, I'm good wherever he's at. I'm kind of good where him in WWE, and that's where he'll be. And like, you know, once a month he'll have a match and it'll be really fucking good. And I'll see on pay-per-view. And like, I'll see the people that are WWE fans say that like, he's one of the, you know, elite wrestlers in the world. And I'll be like, what the fuck are you talking about? But whatever. Like, he's still a great wrestler. It's just, that's kind of like, he's kind of just been in this kind of, his matches are his matches, right? And everybody has their own, and a lot of people have their own, like, you know, basic idea of like a, what do you call it? A formula for success, right? Like, there is a Kenny Omega match, there is an Okada match, there is a Danielson match, there is a Shuri match, there is a Tam match, there is an Eddie Kingston match, there's a Moxley match. Everyone has a match. But for me, I just feel like what he does, and is, which is appropriate, is it's suited for WWE. And if he wants to change, and if he wants to go somewhere else, he's gonna have to change some things. And obviously, they take some introspection and some looking into what you can do different to change it up with everything. And like, not everybody, you know, at this point with all the miles on their body wants to make that change, right? Like, we just saw Christian and Edge. I'm sorry, we saw Christian and Big Coat basically have a damn WWE match, a good one, or about a WWE match in the main event of Dynamite last weekend or last Wednesday. So it's like, I don't necessarily want to see more of that in AEW. So, you know, no knock against him. Like I say, he's great, but he's just like, he's great, but he's not, but it comes with qualifiers of like, same thing I have with Jay White. Like, he's great, but I'm not necessarily like, I'm not endorsing him either, you know?
So this doesn't fit for everyone, but I feel like for Rollins it does. Because I'm looking at his career, how old he is, and like what kind of, you know, value strictly as an asset,
was
right?
it like 36, 37?
He's about to be 38.
Yeah, okay.
Just look, like, if this was the Tampa Bay Rays that was running this, right? Like, like guys like Seth Rollins are the reason that WWE wins wrestling wars. And I mean that because, say they nudge him out the door, right? And then it's like, all right, the peak value has already been had. Like, I've said it on this show, you know, several times. The answers are not in mid 2010s WWE or you know, anytime before that. Mm-hmm. With guys like Seth Rollins, it's not like a Copeland situation even, because Copeland's 50 years old. It's like, how long is he realistically going to be around? But with Rollins, you can trick yourself into being like, oh,
I got a decade with him.
I got all this time with him, but it's like, well, he's never gonna like his VORP will drop steadily over the next, you know, I don't know, let's say 5 years, and he's never gonna be your guy. Like, no one will ever look at it like that,
right?
And it's like, and I really think like guys like Rollins, like, he's at the perfect point in his career. It's like, you know, he's not like a Danielson. He's not someone that's just so phenomenal that you do it anyway. Like, because Danielson jumped like around that age or whatever, right? Yeah. But stop me. But Seth Rollins is not Bryan Danielson, so
I don't think it'll stop you on that one. Another part I'll add on to what you're saying is, and I'll go even more into specifics about it. He's one of those guys where you see his sense of his value or whatever to pro wrestling, and it's like, it's the same thing when you think of teams and trades, whatever else. He's more valuable to the team he's already on than he'll ever be to the team that he would potentially go to. He's more valuable in WWE than whatever his value is related to WWE. And if you put it somewhere else, I don't know how I don't know how you make it make sense. Like, you can absolutely put Seth Rollins in the main event, the big Sunday night main event of WrestleMania or whatever else. You could, in theory, put him in the main event of All In. However, you would have to build towards that for a long amount of time to make him feel like he's actually a WWE or AEW guy, and he has roots in the company, and he has all these his history with blah 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 blah. Like, otherwise, it would just feel like, you know, kind of like when people talk about CM Punk, he would come in and main event WrestleMania right now after he's been with AEW, he's been away from WWE for a full decade or close to a decade, 9 years. He feels like an outsider, an interloper, if you will. So, like, I'm not saying that he can't do good things, but I'm just saying like the things that he would do don't particularly interest me outside of like, all right, because of the buzz and the talking, all the, the internet discourse over the years, like, okay, put him in there with Omega, let Omega give him his first 5-star match, right? Put him there with Ospreay, let Ospreay give him his first 5-star match, right? And they could go back and forth and they can riff on the stuff they were saying to each other a couple of years ago about, size and the bank account. And it's like, bruh, I'm bigger than you in size now. And also, like, I'm also a millionaire now too, suck my dick, right? Like, it could be that kind of stuff. But it's like, ultimately, the match would be great because the match would be great, but it's like, all right, then we start talking about, all right, now what else after that, right? And then for me, it's like, okay, Seth Rollins is as a program builder to build around and up to matches for pay-per-view after 3, for on at this point now, because every on 2-month bills, whatever else. It's like, he's not exactly a great program builder historically. And doesn't knock against him. It's just that's not his strength. And it's like, all right, so he's not
getting his chance now with this Punk stuff, so we'll see what he does.
Yeah, and to be fair, like, I probably will vote him and Cody as like, some of the best things WWE has done on the main roster in like the last 2 years, right? I don't think you disagree on that, would you?
No.
Right. Yeah. So like, it's not necessarily a strength. He has some on his catalog, but it's not a strength. Like same thing with like promos with him. It's like, he has some promos that are like some good promos, but like, he's not Jericho. You hand him the mic and like, he'll figure some shit out. Right. It's not that kind of thing, or Moxley or at this point now Danielson.
And he presents something like where, like, I'll take Drew McIntyre for example. I would sign Drew McIntyre.
Potential upside, yeah.
I would sign Drew McIntyre to AEW like way before I would sign Seth Rollins, because there are like tons of Seth Rollins archetypes in AEW. Drew would kind of be unique in that regard, and he would, he's not as stained. He's been in WWE for a long time, but he's not as stained. As far as like with Seth Rollins, he potentially is like kind of like a Molotov cocktail just in the positioning, right? So like when I say guys like Seth Rollins caused WWE to win Wrestling Wars, I mean like when he jumps to that company, now everything's out of fucking whack. So who do you put him with? Like, are you keeping him with the class of the Moxleys, the Omegas, Jerichos, like your
you would have
Eddie Kingston, all that stuff?
You have to put him in base like the old money main eventers or whatever else, while not being old money main eventer in AEW ever. But you have to slot him in there like as if he's like, kind of like Edge or whatever else. Yeah.
But it's like, all right, like, who will do business for who in that, I don't know. But you slide it down, then you've got,
the guys that are going to be the main eventers the next 3 years, where it's like Swerve and Hangman and MJF and
Jay White
and Jay White. And it's like, I prefer not to see any of those guys do a job, to be in programs doing jobs as Seth Rollins right now. I'm sorry, Tyler Black in that particular situation as of right now. Like,
look, and then you slide it even more, right? And I'm not saying like these guys wouldn't lose to him or anything. It just, I don't think would ultimately be productive, like Ricky Starks or Jungle Boy or Sammy Guevara. Like, and then like, eventually those are the guys that are like, I think I need to leave now.
Let's go lower. Let's go, not lower, but let's go to that, right? Add on to like that pillar area, right?
Darby Allin.
You throw Darby Allin, you throw Orange Cassidy there too, and then you throw in like, I don't know, and then you're just like, all right, he has to beat those guys.
But that shit is not gonna go over well with.
It's gonna piss off. It's gonna piss off the people that are AEW first fans or AEW fans at the root, because it's like, why is this person even like, it's almost like he's like. Cody left 2 years ago, and now he's in the Cody slot, where it's like, he's too big to be facing these people, and now he's wrestling in the mid-card, but he's not wrestling the top guys. Why is he not wrestling top guys? What is going on?
It would just be nasty. Yeah, like, it would be and then, like, that's how you get, like, your youth jumping ship. And then it's like, oh, shit, the pipeline starts getting fucked up. Like, and
now to be fair, I think some of that pipeline, like Sue Williams, he talked about like an open I wouldn't trade him, or more or less saying like I wouldn't trade him Seth Rollins for I wouldn't trade for Seth Rollins if I had to give up, or I find more value out of having a Jungle Boy than a Seth Rollins. And for me, I'm like, nah. Like this year, not even forget the suspension part. Like this year was one of the years where it was like kind of a make or break thing for him, and like it seemed like it broke. It didn't make. Like he spent the whole year, like, and I almost tweeted this out, but I left it alone. But like, he spent the whole year chasing after a singles title. All he did was fail to win. And then he finished his story by winning the FTW title, which is what? Failure to win. Right? It's the same fucking acronym. I made that joke on the spot when we were talking about it back then. It's like, yeah, man, this is probably not going to ever like work out where like Jack Perry is like at the top of AEW pay-per-view. This is probably never going to happen. You can say the same thing for Sammy Guevara, and and Darby is pretty much when you push the button, and it's probably going to be after the Sting stuff. And also like the idea of like, he obviously has a natural thing with Swerve, in Moxley as well. So like, yeah, he has things to go to once he's done with this Sting thing. But like the other two, Guevara and Perry, nah. But like,
I think I'll still take Jack. But
there's tons of space between Perry and getting to the actual top of AEW anyway. So it's like,
Yeah, I think I'll still take Jack because, like, on pay-per-view, he's pretty much like flawless in that regard, and like he's still 26, so like he's got a lot of years ahead of him.
You can bet on youth, and then it's just not linear. Like, I just think like the way it is shaking out, and the way the people are going to come in and out and back and forth, he's never jumping people. Like, we're kind of thing where like it's been 4 years now. And we've seen where people like they're able to distinguish themselves. Darby has distinguished himself. MJF has distinguished himself. Orange Cassidy has distinguished himself. Like, I still kind of think he's like behind. He's a better wrestler than him. I'd rather watch him, but like, I think more people gravitate and care about Ricky Starks than they do Jungle Boy.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of that's kind of the pecking order of it, and that's how it shakes out. Not to say he's not talented, because obviously he is. He has great pay-per-view matches, especially his big matches, but it takes so much. And also, it's like he had to do them jobs for Christian. A lot of quote unquote damage was done to him to kind of keep him where he's at, and like that pillar shit didn't help him either. Like the pillar program.
Now with Rollins, like, who knows? I think he's going back to WWE.
That's another thing. Is like, I think this is just a leverage play. I don't think it's just to get more money or whatever he wants, and it's not actually entertaining on AEW. Because like, if he goes to AEW, it's like, okay, like, I don't think anyone's jumping for joy and be like, we got one. This ain't exactly Moxley walking down after the end of Jericho and Omega, is it?
It wouldn't excite me. I have.
It'll excite some people, but it would not. I think
I have no desire.
I think just gauge on the fan base, it won't have that level of excitement as like the Moxley thing. I just don't think it does.
I have no desire to watch, the great WWE Hope switch sides. Aside from, all right, give him a chance to see if he can actually like get in the building with some of the people have swear that he's in the building with.
But my thing is like,
he ain't used that muscle, man.
That's what I'm getting at. Is like, he don't. People talk about like, they talk about like people in their mid or like having midlife crisis or whatever else. And they talking about like, leaving their situations, whatever else. He'd be like, bro, you don't want to be outside. You don't right now. You don't want to be in the streets right now. And the streets is cold. They are and they are tough. And like, Seth seems real comfortable, and it's perfectly fine. AJ Styles is real comfortable too. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's plenty of people in AEW or in WWE that are real comfortable because they're getting checks based off the prior work, and they're perfectly fine doing their thing. And I'm not saying Seth is like completely turned it all off, whatever, but like, he's clearly in a routine, and switching that routine out for what? You getting good money.
Yeah, and also like, it would be interesting to see if Rollins is like, yeah, man, I think I saw a pretty funny thing where he was like, "Yeah, man, y'all want me to do this here business WrestleMania season? I think I need to go over." I would find that pretty funny, and he used the contract for leverage. Be like, "Well, I guess I'm gonna have to walk out the door."
Yeah. Now the real funny thing would be like, all right, he hits free agency, and he's like, all right, well, I guess I ain't going back. And Tony Khan knows they'd be like, all right. So what's the offer, Mr. Anthony Khan? $500,000.
Low ball.
Take your ass back. You better tuck tail and take your ass back. Or I'm not spending $3 million on you. Are you out your mind?
Hell no.
For what?
Like, you do not get bigger by signing Seth Rollins. A, his fans are not coming. B, there's not that many of them.
God damn it.
There's no drawing history with Seth Rollins whatsoever.
Right.
Like,
you be like, okay, he's a Midwest guy. He's a Bears fan. He's from Iowa and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of, they fits into that Chicago stuff. It's like, bro, you just had CM Punk. What the fuck is Seth Rollins? CM Punk in Chicago? Like, nah, man, it's a wrap. Fold that shit up. So yeah, man, it's there's not going to be much aside from AEW. There's no place that give him the money he would want for what the job he's already doing. He's just going to take his ass back to WWE. Obviously, like, this is a weeks for news, whatever else. So it's like, let's just talk about it. Let's just like speculate, right? But it's like, we know he know his ass going back.
Yeah, like that man might take a pay cut. Can I stay? Can I?
Look, post merger, tightening up that belt.
I want to prove how loyal I am. Like this could be getting nasty in a whole bunch of ways.
Yeah,
I'd be like, if we find out, I'd be like, this man has re-signed for less money. I will never stop going in.
At this point, what he really need to be doing is trying to figure out how to get that Roman schedule or some approaching it. Like,
look, you know what he needs to do?
How do I make myself how do I make myself stand out by having to do less of these silly ass Raws where I wrestle the same person, 5 times in 2 months?
You know what he needs to do? He needs to hire Barry Bloom as an agent. just to, just to make him think twice. I'll do it.
Does Barry Bloom take that call?
Absolutely.
Oh, he does?
Absolutely, Barry Bloom. He's an agent.
He might just be like, all right, this motherfucker playing. He ain't serious.
Yeah, he's got to take the call. Like Jericho would tell him to take the call. Take the call.
No, but I mean, okay, I guess I didn't mean take the call. Be like, seriously, be like, yeah, I'm actually gonna represent him, and like, I mean, the percentage is the percentage, right? But it's also like, do I really want to, do I really want to waste my time on this? Or you be like, hey, this is the easiest check I'm gonna get. I know where he wants to go. I know what the numbers are.
Yes.
I changed my mind.
They terrified. They'd be terrified. WWE does not want. They would not want. I don't think Seth Rollins to leave.
Yeah, but I also don't think that would. I also don't feel like they feel like that would hurt them either.
I think the only thing that they might think about that is like they push him for so long. But yeah, it's like I was saying earlier. There's no future upside in Seth Rollins. Like, he's done what he's gonna do. Like, this is it. Like, after he drops this, could he fight Roman Reigns one day and be they do it for the actual number 1 belt or something? Maybe he can do that, right?
If they were ever going to do that,
they would have done that, right?
Right, that's what I'm getting. If they were going to do it, they would have done that. They've had since 2016 to do that. They didn't do it. It's 2020. We're going to 2024.
Yeah,
that shit is like Undertaker and Cena. It's like, if you was ever going to actually really do it, you would have done it by now. Now you're going to do it unadvertised for 3 minutes and shit, and tease it with Cena on for weeks, and then be like, yeah, well, I don't know why y'all mad in the last 3 minutes. I don't know why y'all mad. This unadvertised match. No one told you Undertaker was actually going to be here, except for our television telling you he was going to be here.
Yeah, turn your screen off.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, but look, it could be. I guess if if Seth were to finish the story, and he's a person to topple the Samoan Empire or the Bloodline or whatever else. I mean, I guess that would be a great way to end WrestleMania 44.
Sick.
You think they got something else when they get done with this? Because I don't. There's a lot they have no idea.
I think Roman Reigns is about to take it back to the trap, and then you would think like they would figure something out.
Would be the person that they have Heyman go with, but unlikely. I think they know what we've noticed about Sikoa a while back. We're like, nope, it's not there.
Not it.
He just related to them.
It is. I think with
and Yeet Man ain't gonna get the job done either.
The Yeet Man is not. Like I could see Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman usually doesn't work backwards. Like he usually tries to like jump younger. There's a Chicago train.
Brock Lesnar and Big Show, bitch.
Yeah, he usually don't work backwards, but like I could easily see him trying to put Heyman back with Big CM, and then flip Roman. But I don't know.
We'll see. We will see.
So, free format show now. I
mean, if you want to go continue talking about the Yeet Man, we can.
I mean, why not?
This shit just sound funny. The Yeet Man.
The Yeet Man. Yeah. And I do not mean Yeet. That's on the song with Drake. So taking to New Japan Pro Wrestling now. They unveiled the name of the new championship that will be contested in the three-way match between Will Ospreay, Jon Moxley, and David Finlay. It's called the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship.
Wait. The IWGP GHC?
Yes.
You're shitting me.
I'm dead serious.
No, I'm not the first person to point that out, right?
No.
Okay, just wanted to make fucking sure. I'm like, I'm not going crazy, am I? All right.
So, I had many talks with Josh. I was like, there's no way they're actually just pulling out the white belt and like saying, yeah, it's Intercontinental title all over again, because like they would have to be admitting they failed. So what they're doing now is like, oh, redirect your eyes to some new shit here. And I saw this and I was just like, a belt's a belt for me. I'm like, man, y'all going through a lot of trouble to establish this for a very loose, kind of flimsy reason, it seems like. So I like the red belt. I didn't think there was anything wrong with that, but they want to do something else. What do you make of this, James?
I don't have much to say. I think it stinks, right? Like, if you don't want to go back to the white belt, cool, fine, whatever else. But you can't. You would almost have to be like, bro, this is almost like, this is intentional, right? This is intentional. Like you're fucking with Noah, right? Like there's no way that you came up with that name and then no one came to you and be like, bro, that's GHC. There's no way there's no way that didn't come up in whatever naming process that was. And then you didn't be like, oh, well, I gotta go back to drum board. This is intentional.
I just saw a picture of the Iron Claw release thing, and I saw a picture with John Cena and MJF. John Cena is like half a head taller than MJF.
And John Cena ain't exactly that tall. He's like 6'1". 6'2".
Right.
6'2".
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Eye-opening.
He 5'10" and lifts. I've been telling y'all that.
Yeah, man. What do you make of this in-season tournament thing, man? Because I didn't pay attention at all, man.
Man, in-season tournament was fun. It was just basically like it was basically like regular season games that the players gave a fuck about. And they played hard. They played harder than they would have in a regular, November, December start the season. Like, we've had this. I mean, the lockout in 2012 almost like crystallized the ultimate truth that was like teams start out. There are a couple teams that actually try hard to start out. They might, start out 8-0, whatever else. But for the most part, teams don't really get the shit in the gear until Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And these teams came out there and they played really hard and really spirited in like the whole idea of some of these games were just like, this is a game that otherwise would have just been like, if someone gets hot, it's the only way you even remember. Someone got hot from, had some crazy scoring barrage, you wouldn't remember it. Outside it, you wouldn't remember anything. And like, it was fun. Now, there's going to be, because of the Lakers and who they are and LeBron and who he is, there's going to be a group of people that like are going to rush to try to invalidate this tournament. And that's your prerogative. Like, I'm not about to pretend like if anybody else had won, like let's say the Suns had won, let's say the Mavs had won, let's say the Pelicans had won, let's say each conference team won, let's say like the Knicks had won. I wasn't going to come out here and pretend like it's actual Larry O'Brien trophy. It's not. The players don't pretend it to be that way. Media hasn't pretended to be that way. It's just a thing to do that's fun. Players get more money and are playing for $500,000 that they weren't expecting to get, so they're trying harder. And that was the result. You have a more interesting start to the season than you otherwise would have, because normally you get like the first 2 weeks of the season, and it feels like a dead period, and then you get Christmas that restarts it, and then you get like teams playing hard like after New Year's, and then you get the trade deadline / All-Star break, and then like that after the All-Star break and trade deadlines, when the games people start really playing hard in regular season games, like super duper hard, right? That kind of, you see, like this is your team, this is our team, it's been decided, and now we're going to play hard because we might face each other in the playoffs or the finals, whatever else. You start seeing the quote unquote finals previews, Eastern Conference finals previews, and all that kind of stuff that we start to see. And also like those are the games where you start seeing people like kind of figure out the determination of who's going to actually win the MVP and that kind of stuff. So like, yeah, man, I thought that, this was a fun tournament. And I thought that like people like go ahead.
Would the Knicks have treated it like a championship?
No, they wouldn't have treated it like a championship.
Tom Gambardella would have treated it like a championship. I know that.
Look, the Knicks can't treat it like a championship because because if they had did that, we would have clowned the shit out of them, and the only thing they could be able to say was "suck my dick," and we would have been like, "Nah, y'all dorks, y'all know y'all dorks." Because if the Nets had won this shit, y'all wouldn't have gave a fuck. We know y'all wouldn't have cared. Well, but yeah, man, it was fun. It was fun, like seeing Halliburton go nuts. Seeing the team like the Magic and some of this stuff, like. They seem like one of those teams that like you start looking at them on League Pass. You start, with these fucking Wagners and with Cole Anthony and with of course Paolo. Like it looks like that's going to be a team. Like obviously I'm not saying they're going to be as low as the Thunder, but like it's like a team was like that's a team that's going to make playoffs in the next East. 2 years. Kind of. Obviously the Thunder are deeper and they have they still have more assets available in the future, but it's like, yeah, like this has been fun. And like to see like the highlights of some of these, or see some of the games, it'd be like there seems to be more energy in the arena with these crazy looking color courts on the floor. It just happened to be that way in the weird lighting. It just happened to be that way. It felt that way. Like,
yeah, bro, that shit really threw me off, bro. Like seeing like the colors of the court and then like the uniform. I was like, what team is playing where? Like, I was like, I was lost. I was talking about it with Ken, and I was like, I don't know what's happening. Like,
what I would say is like, I could do with or without the new jerseys. Obviously, New Jersey is like something to sell, whatever. The courts, you can't sell those, so I don't know what's the point. Other than to say, oh, it's Tuesday or it's Friday, you know what that means. It's the end season tournament. But like, you know, I like the idea of they send it to Vegas, they go out there for the Final Four and play the games. I like the idea that like, you know, some of these teams, look, for people saying that it didn't matter, a lot of these teams, a lot of the players in some of these teams, like when it was crunch time situations, they reacted in the ways they normally do historically when it's the playoffs. Not to say they didn't want playoff games, but like, you see, you're like, oh, Embiid scored 15? Oh, the Celtics discombobulated in crunch time when it mattered the most? That seems to ring familiar and true.
Interesting.
I'm not saying it's a playoffs game. I'm saying like it definitely felt like to some of these teams like more than just a regular season game, because a lot of these teams went out there and behaved in kind of similar ways that we've seen when we've applied the pressure to them. Yeah.
Is this considered a championship in the Clutch Sports offices?
No. Now,
so Rich Paul ain't gonna pull up to some podcast in a few weeks and start talking insane.
Nah. Because he don't get a cut of that $500,000. So, the one thing that I do find funny is like these NBA players, the max players, they making what, $45 million in some situations. Like some of the guys in the years going, like Jaylen Brown making 60 or whatever else, and it's like some of y'all game checks worth more than that.
Yeah,
but $500,000 got y'all out here playing this much harder. How do we get, maybe it's because the part where it's like we're already in season mode or whatever else, so it ain't nothing to actually turn the switch already, as opposed to like it's the All-Star game and we kind of take that as a vacation. We're trying to get back home for a final stretch. All this travel, all this stuff we got to do with NBA care stuff is draining. We're all just gonna go out here and just put the stamp on it and just go through. But look, if we get $500,000 for the winner of the All-Star game? Can we have
Bro,
can we get $1 million for the All-Star game? Cause look,
we need the government to fund this or something, bro, like, you know.
Man, I missed the All-Star game.
Pay our players.
I ain't watched the All-Star game in a couple years now because 200 points, over 150.
I haven't watched the All-Star game since 2016.
I mean, I stopped watching it. I think I watched it before 2020, and I definitely won't watch it post 2020 after 2020 because they were like all the Kobe tributes. So like, nope, I'm not going to watch any of those. I don't feel like being depressed. I don't feel like crying my eyes out. No, thank you. So yeah.
It's interesting because I saw they're gonna put the banner up and all that. I was like, oh, Adam Silver done made a phone call. We don't normally ain't no shit like this.
When I heard about the banner, I heard the banner was like, it's not like you put up an actual like championship banner. Like that banner don't go up next to like the Bulls 1998, 97, 96, 92, 3, and 91 banners. Like it's a banner that goes up, and like it's almost like when you see teams put up like they won the division type shit, where it's like they'll put up like we won the ACC. And like instead of putting up different ACC banners, you put up ACC champion and you just add on the year. Is one of those kind of banners. It's like, okay, that's appropriate or whatever else. Like one, like maybe, you know, I'm one of the people who's like, look, man, celebrate. This shit hard. Not all franchises are created equal. It's not like the idea of winning a division different between the Yankees and like the Marlins. It's a totally different thing. So it's like you let your fans celebrate the chance that they actually got some shine for once. Like, I think that,
what the funniest shit I was thinking about during this shit, it was like, yeah, LeBron James about to make $50 million this season. That man is taking that $500,000 away from these Pacers G Leaguers or whoever the fuck. Like, no, give me this shit.
Do you see the one when they were playing the Pelicans and like Jose Alvarado was like, hey, $500,000, I'm gonna get it to my daughter or whatever else. And then all of a sudden you see LeBron go out there and he scores like 30 points in 22 minutes. It's like, and then people put up that Jordan meme, fuck them kids, fuck your kid.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, like, look, people say it didn't matter or whatever else, but I'll say one thing that mattered. Like they had Zion on that court next to LeBron James, and boy, they sure slaughtered Zion like it did matter, didn't they?
Hey man,
they on his
Zion
ass.
Williamson. That man done got on national TV. That man got a national spotlight. Like, and then they put him out there with the Lakers, and you notice the Lakers Pelicans thing been, a thing
ever since the trade. Yeah.
Like, and it's like the fan bases do not like each other.
I'm still waiting for like the Pelicans to like, win this trade that they say they gave it way too much for AD. I'm still waiting for them to get close to approaching winning it. Since it was so close, I'm still waiting for it.
Yeah, I see Zion and I'm just like, this is so bad because you hear about him getting it right over the summer.
Well, that was the summer before. That was last year. Last year he was in great shape, and it was like, so what happened?
And then it's just like he just rolls in and he's getting like 6 rebounds a game and shit. And I'm like, this is unacceptable. Like, how are you getting less than 2 rebounds a quarter? Like,
you went full Bill Simmons on him? You went full Bill Simmons on him?
Yes. Like that Amari Stoudemire. Like, Amari Stoudemire is out rebounding you, man. Like, what the fuck, bro? Like this shit should be impossible, bro. Like, this shit is so disappointing. It is like, Zion Williamson should probably be the best player in the NBA by this point. But no.
Something approaching it. Because the thing is, when you see him in shape and healthy, is like,
he should be an MVP candidate. Can we at least say that?
Yeah. Because on defense, it's like he's never going to because he's out of position. Like he's 6'7", and like he's not lengthy enough with like arm length and all that kind of stuff to be that kind of havoc wreaker. But like you see him going up and down the court, and you see LeBron just running right by him in some of them LeBron highlights. In that game, you're just like, bro, he's 38 and you 24 or something like that. It just looks bad. And like the thing that's crazy about it is like you'll still see him like even on offense, he still gets buckets, he still whatever. But it's like if you were in shape, or if you were in better shape. That's a better way to put it. If you were in better shape, or you were in the shape you were in last year, like you'd be an all-NBA guy. You don't look like an all-NBA guy like you were last year. And, it's I feel like the pieces are around him to actually be like a team that could like get past even, forget the playoffs, like get past like the play-in, like be a actual one of the 6 teams or whatever else in the West. And the West is deep. It is. But their offense is so potent and they're complementary of each other. And it's like, the thing that's holding him back is ultimately his health and his conditioning. And it sucks because like, he's like the only Duke guy I've ever rooted for. Cause like the whole thing is cool. Like this motherfucker came out of nowhere playing these nobody that is nowhere part of the country. And it looks almost like a fake YouTube or whatever else. His highlights when he's out here dunking on them white kids like that. And it's like, he gets a Duke and it's like, wait, is this motherfucker actually great? No, not Freddie's great. Wait, is he the number 1 pick? Wait, is he generational talent? What the fuck? Is this like the second coming of Sean Kemp? What's happening here? And then, we get to this and it's like, he just can't stay on the court. And even when he's on the court, it's like, sometimes it's issues. But it's like, you watch that dude take one step, one dribble, and it's like, yo, this dude, you can't stop him getting to the rim when he wants to.
Right.
And it's like, why can't, just get the fuck together, please.
So frustrating.
It is. It is. I mean, just equally frustrating is Jaw's dumbass on the other side too. But like, at least his situation is like,
come back
I can't put down guns on camera.
Listen to NBA YoungBoy. Apparently, that's like just what you do.
He's on the way back, by the way.
Yeah. Any day now, they sure could use him. But yeah, man. Let's get into like AEW Dynamite and particularly the C2. Man, the C2 I think has been a really, really good tournament. I don't think there's a single match of the year candidate in it, but like you're living comfortably between like 3 3/4 and 4.5 consistently.
Yep.
Like in these matches, there's no one that's coming out here and be like, yeah, they give you 2.5. They give you a 3-star match. No, like they're giving you high quality work.
Yep.
Both blocks.
I think the only match that I would not give 3.5 stars to would be like the Jay White and Jay Lethal match. And that's more because I think the crowd just zapped it for me.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, but I thought their closing stretch and their actual in-ring stuff was actually like pretty clean and like well thought out. It's just the crowd wanted to make a show of itself as opposed to like watching the guys. And I don't know if that's so much of, you know, because Jay Lethal is unserious because he's with Jared or whatever else and whatever. But like, it still was a good match. But like, yeah, I'm with you. Like, lots of similarities as far as the quality level between like that and like the Grand Prix, where it's like you're going to get consistently like high 3s, low 4s, or whatever else. Not, you don't get 30 minutes to go out there to go get 5 or go get, 4 3/4, but like in the right setting, the right pace, and whatever, you can get 4.5. I think I may have one match might have touched 4.5, maybe. Kingston and Danielson, because I think it's the best match of the tournament so far. But yeah, like 4 1/4 is available to you. 4 stars is definitely available to you. Now I would say I don't think that the diversity of the matches and what's happening in the ring is as diverse as like what happens in the Grand Prix when you have like the speedsters around, like you have Starlight Kid or Suzu or Azumi or Natsupoi around, but like there it's hard hitting ass beating wrestling and it's been fun for me to watch.
Yeah, I think the promos on these have been really good.
Yes.
Like
they are definitely selling like the wares of battle and how each character is reacting to their situations and the win-loss record and also their injuries as they're carried on through this tournament. And it's almost as if they're telling stories.
Don't say that too loud. They might get the wrong idea. We don't need none of those. We don't do that over here. It's just all matches.
Yeah, it's not exactly like Kurt Angle, like alluding visually to raping Booker T's wife, but they're telling stories. Now, I was going to say another Booker T story, but then it's going to sound like I was picking on Booker T. I was going to talk about like the shampoo commercial. I'm going to leave it alone. Like, why are you picking on Booker T? I don't mean to pick on Booker T. Just like, I think of some of the dumb stuff that they had Booker T do, and I feel Booker T deserved better. But they telling stories.
Yeah.
No love triangle yet, but they telling stories.
You stupid. They've got something kind of unique going on in each block. So the whole thing is, can Kingston climb out of the hole, and where the fuck is Danielson going to slip? And it already looked like Andrade brutalized that man's eye and all that shit, and just fucked him up. So I watched Collision this week, and I was like, this was a really good fucking show. Like between the 3 tournament matches, the Kenny match, and then like the squash match, and then the women's match, and I was like, what is going on here? Like, this is supposed to be a dead show.
And I thought that the Saraya promo that had Anna Jay now officially, more or less officially with Outcast replacing Toni Storm, and like her talk about like Saraya talk about how she doesn't like Ruby like doing the first stuff with Parker because it thinks that like I don't want you to leave. I don't want you to leave me like Tony left me. It was like, oh my God, there's actually like a human there. We haven't seen any human emotion out of her before. Like I like that's an actual respectable like motivation for Saraya as opposed to just being annoying for sake of being annoying. I like that. Oh my God, are they telling stories? Is AEW telling stories?
But yeah, like Danielson got it's like, where's he going to slip up the rest of this thing? Garcia's been getting his head beat in.
And it's also he's struggling because he started out mistakes. He lost to Claudio first, right?
Yeah.
lost to Claudio, and then his next match was Danielson. That's second match, right? So like he immediately, because he goes into the tournament with the, he has Leonard and Parker being like, hey man, stop the dancing or whatever else. You're post Jericho, trying to figure out what you want to be, what you want to do, succeed. And like he goes out there and he does the dancing and he loses. And then he gets to Danielson and he's like, all right, fuck the pants, fuck the dancing. I'm coming out here in the not Red Death. What's his name?
Red Death.
Red Death trunks, knee pads, boots, and he wrestles Danielson. He has a great match with him, but the thing is, like, he's pressing to try to figure out, because he's behind the 8 ball. He's pressing, trying to figure out his identity through this tournament. Like, sounds like a story, right? I'm just like, and then Kingston, you touched on it, but I'll go further. Like, Kingston is talking about, like, he's down 0-2. He's facing Danielson. No, I'm sorry, he's 0-1. And then he has to face Danielson. So he's like, fuck. Like, have I made a mistake, like, putting my belts on this thing? Like, has my hubris came out to bite me? And it made me think a little bit of, like, have I been up more than I can chew? Like, I was on the underdog, finally won, and like, I'm already I'm out here out kicking my coverage. And Ryan checks that I'm not necessarily sure I can cash, and now I got to face Danielson already down in this thing. And it made me think almost like Amina trying for the red belt against Tam, like immediately. Like, it's like, you finally had this cathartic feeling, now you want more, and like, your hubris is now catching up with you. Like, now you got to deal with that, and now he's behind. Now he's at this point now, because he beat Claudio, and that match is awesome too. Like, he has 3 points, and it's like, and then you see, the Danielson thing where it's like, okay, Danielson's ahead. He's about to get a 9. Okay. And then at some point when watching the match, when the eye patch came off, it's like, okay. You see the swell on, it's like, and I thought to myself, Danielson loves to sell and oversell his injuries or whatever. People so precious with him and everything over the years. Sometimes he'll feel too far and it'll be disgusting, like when he sold the seizure stuff, right? But this is working because it's his eye. He started bleeding from his nose, bleeding from his mouth. And then, like, I kept noticing, like, Andrade is saving those knees in the corner. And then he hit with the knees in the corner. He's inverted. Then he flipped him around and got him again. And then he got him up for the Hammerlock DDT. I was like, he's going to beat him. Yep. Sure enough, he beat him. I was like, that's a great win from Andrade. When they started the collision, they wanted to push him. They wanted to do the whole thing when he was going to go through, more or less, like, go through House of Black. I never got my fucking Malachi and Andrade match. Whatever. I got this, though, and this shit was awesome. And it's like, okay, Danielson back there trying to pitch away to go 0-5 in this fucking tournament anyway. But, like, it's like, all right, he was about to go up front. He gets a loss now. And, like, this is a way for this to figure out now with the eye and the damage that Andrade did to him going forward. When he was a world beater, he has to now face Brody King, and that's going to be a slaughter fest for him. Yep. And Brody King is like the monster of the block. Like,
then you got Claudio.
You've seen these tournaments where you have the big person just roll through people, and they may win their block. They normally don't, but it's like they look super impressive, and there's an upset coming at some point. He faces Danielson. That's gonna be interesting to see how like now Danielson is like, like the best person in that block is now hampered, and like, how's he gonna handle this now? Because he's already.
Then he's going to fight his teammate probably in the last match. I think that's where it's headed.
Right. And Claudio already took that loss to King, so you could easily imagine him like that could be a draw or a win for Claudio.
Then you start thinking about the Gold League, which is primarily lived on Dynamite. It's been like a 2-man race with a third guy lurking.
Yeah.
Between Mox and Swerve, they've just been the class of the blocks. And then Mark Briscoe just has been having everyone's best match seemingly.
Feels like it.
I think he like there's a case to be made for he's the American Ishii in this tournament. I've really enjoyed his work.
Yeah. Now I already got the story. I feel like I already got the story beat for Mark Briscoe.
Okay.
He goes 0-4 and then he beats Lethal at the end, and that ties into the whole thing that was going on with Lethal and FTR. And Jarrett or whatever else, like during portions of the year, and that's a part of all this stuff. Like, people were asking, like, why is it Lethal in here? Why is Mark Briscoe in here? because Mark Briscoe and Jay Lethal are good fucking wrestlers, but like they can get to that story that they kind of just had, they tie up or whatever in that one little match or whatever. Some people will care because Mark Briscoe's been balling in this fucking tournament.
Yeah.
He's been going out there getting 40 every night.
With Moxley and Swerve coming in the fourth match, like they didn't save this for the last one. This is interesting because of who's left. Like Jay White is left for Moxley at the end of this thing.
You know what that means?
Spoiler, like something goofy.
Look, for those that aren't familiar with Jay White's work, right? Like I don't know if you caught him at one point on one of the promos. He said, "I am a G1 briefcase winner." I was like, "Yeah, you never won that goddamn tournament, but you won one of them shits off night, the briefcase off night till one time. I remember that.
Yeah.
Did he lose to Ibushi too?
Yeah, he lost to Ibushi in the final.
Yeah. No. Didn't he take a briefcase off of Ibushi one time? Like in the they defended like the Big Show after.
Yes, he did take it off of Ibushi.
Yeah. He never wins the G1. He beats him, but he still gets
something
via beating him with the G1. Right? So I'm watching this. I'm like, you can't fool me. I'm familiar with your game. I saw Swerve beat that man. I was like, oh, when's he face Mox? Is he gonna knock Mox right out this bitch? He gonna spoil that man. And I was like, oh, I know this. I know when they booked this whole thing, they were like, Jay was like, hey man, like I ain't trying, I don't know if you want me to win this or not, but like there's this thing that I normally do. And it's called ruin. It's called ruin fans' expectations and hopes and dreams. I'm real good at that. I've been doing that for years. So he's like, hey, let me all you Mox fans out there, as Mox cutting these inspirational promos about, what it takes to be the ace and everything. Let me go ahead and throw this big face Joker on this fucking ace real quick.
So Roosh is going to be the person that's waiting for Swerve in the fifth match.
Okay.
So it's interesting which way they go because it's going to be two guys that move on from each block to the pay-per-view, and it'll be the semifinals and finals that night. So like two people go through. I don't. Okay. So like I'm not going to do C2 math on this thing or whatever, but
we still got another week at least.
Yeah, it's still, you can kind of see all the things like happening here. Like Jay White is streaking now.
Yeah.
And he's going to be like, all right, I'm going to try to knock Mox's points in, or it's a draw situation. They could easily do a draw with Swerve and Moxley to basically allow someone to jump on top of them, and then like a tiebreaker scenario could come into effect. Swerve's got the tiebreaker over White so far, and Moxley has the tiebreaker over Roosh. Roosh is behind Jay White, so Roosh will have to win out to even have a prayer, and then hope everybody fucking loses.
Yeah. Also, one thing I liked, another bit of talking about the storytelling, is that in the going back to the other block, the collision block, if you will, like with Danielson with the win over Kingston, and he possibly got to 9. It's like the opener was him and Claudio, and like Kingston was like, hey man, if I lose, like I'm gonna have to eliminate, because like the best I can do is get to 6, and Danielson already has 6. He has tiebreaker for me. I'm fucked. And you see like they start the match, and it's like Eddie Kingston does a fucking tope, and it's like, this is the thing of desperation. Like, that's one of the best things about these tournaments is like, when people get to their like when they start facing elimination, they start acting out of character and taking more risks.
Acting irregular.
Yeah, they start taking more risks than otherwise would, because they know like if I don't win here, I'm done. And you'll start seeing the desperations match. Like some of the better matches in the Grand Prix the last few years has been like Tam Nakano like going up, or Tam Nakano or Shuri, whoever one it is like facing elimination in their block, and then the other one has to like close the door on the other one, and then like you see the desperation from the other one. It's awesome. And we've seen that with Tanahashi over the years, whatever else and whatnot. It's like you see, it was like this person has to pull out all these stops that they otherwise have not. It points the tournament, and like to see Kingston go out there and fucking die.
Look, they know I want to see somebody leaving their feet,
Yeah, man, I was not expecting that when I was like, look, man. I appreciate
Swerve pulling out that 450 for me.
Right. And I'm just like, hey, man, you see it up and down. You see it up and down throughout these, and how these things all relate to each other, and these promos tying all together. Storytelling. It's happening before your eyes.
Yeah, this thing's been
it's not just
enjoyable.
matches.
This thing's been very enjoyable, and it's like if they get to like World's End, and then like the block finals go off, and then the final go off the right way, I'm about to get on this show and start acting ugly.
Yeah, you should.
Because there was a whole lot of selling out going on about the C2 before it happened.
Man. Look, man, like, and that's the thing when you know, the theater kids, when their love for wrestling, and I'm just like, I don't get your love for wrestling. Like, I understand it for the fact that, like, I grew up with my grandma watching her CBS soap operas. I get the drama and the melodrama, whatever else. And I don't mean melodrama to be like in a pejorative way. I mean like the actual, like, oh my God, the tension and that kind of thing and the emotion. I get that. I understand that. What loses me is, like, when you want more of that than the actual, like, humanistic stuff, which is actually like the competition and how people go through the challenge and how characters will react to the adverse situations of injuries, wins and losses, the joy of defeat. The joy of winning and the agony of defeat thing. I'm just like, you're losing the plot too much. So, like, when people be like, you know, I could do with wrestling without the match, is like, well, then what the fuck are we watching then? Because, like, the whole point of this, for the most part, or the balance of this that you want to make, is like, this is a soap opera about a fighting fed. If the fights don't matter or are not well told stories in the ring, then nothing else is going to work as well. You need that stuff. And I feel like when I hear people talk about, like, you know, the matches are in the way, I'm just like, the matches are what they're selling. Those are like the most dramaful points, because, like, that is what's selling. Like, that is like the tension. Like, it'd be like watching Friday Night Lights and be like, we could do without the football games. Or you're watching Glee and you're like, we could do without, like, without the renditions of the songs. Like, that's the emotional markers of what we're watching. How do you not get this? So, you know, it's, you know, I've kind of been, you know, as this thing has been successful, which was predictable, like, I already took a victory lap battle last week, and I guess I'm just going to continue as it continues going, because, like, I guess maybe because y'all haven't seen any of these before. I think it's also the part where it's like, we've seen so many of these tournaments before, luckily. Yeah. It was like, I know what they're going to do. Just watch. You're going to enjoy it. I promise you. If you want to watch Brochachos, let Brochachos go. Look, Brochachos would have felt more earned in emotion if they had been on opposite blocks and they got to the final. Then the microwaving that shit by, you know, drinking the margaritas and whatever. I promise you, it would have felt more earned.
Yeah. I had when I was on Tunnel Talk, I had kind of, you know, stumbled upon the actual, you know, when I was saying, yo, it just feels fucking fake. Like,
it felt microwaved. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I couldn't come to terms with it being like, yo, in this promotion with all these strong relationships around it that
built over time,
are on screen or off screen, like, these are neither. Like, this is just some shit y'all just saying. Y'all booked this.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And it's like, you did it over, you got to this point in like a month.
Yeah.
It felt like they were going to face, well, they had to draw, they were tagging together, and then they were friends, like, within 3 weeks, 4 weeks, tops. And it's like, if you want to move at that pace, fine, but to get from that and then all of a sudden 2 weeks, or, you know, then, like, that's the match at the biggest show you ever done. Feels unearned. And then they went out there and had that match, and it was like, you know, a lot of people loved it. A lot of people that were, you know, day ones with AEW or whatever else did not. You know, and you have your reasons for liking it or not, but for me, it was just like, this seems like some shit they just pulled out of thin air in a way. You know, but yeah, but anyway, back to the tournament. Yeah, man, tournaments were super fun. I've enjoyed it. I watched every match. Look, C2 got me going back and watching Collisions.
Yeah.
I don't watch Collisions. C2 got Daniels, goddamn Daniels and the Kingston got me watching Collisions.
Yeah, man. So shout out to the team putting this together. I think this is, I don't want to put any names on it or anything,
you want to do top 3 so far for MVP tournament?
Sure. I think you got to talk about Danielson for sure.
Yeah.
I think you got to talk about between Swerve and Moxley, like, they're 4-0 and they're both very impressive. Mark Briscoe has been impressive. I think it's like some combo of that for me, and then I feel like I'm splitting hairs between Swerve and Moxley, and then for me is like Danielson, Mark Briscoe, and then tie for third is like Swerve and Moxley, I think.
Okay, so for me, and obviously those guys had the advantage. I think those are the only 3 that have had their three matches in so far. But for me, I put Danielson at 1. I'd put Swerve at 2, and I put Mark Briscoe at 3 so far. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with there was nothing wrong with the Roosh match, but it felt disjointed at times. Like it seemed like the language barrier came. I heard it at certain points, but match still very good, but it wasn't great. And I had in my mind, I still had that match they had before, where I'm just like, and it wasn't that. But yeah, I'll put the Swerve. I put Swerve in that 3. So I will have Danielson 1 and then Swerve and Briscoe. That
main event he had, like, with I'd be interested to do. I think people are already starting this too, like checking out like the shows. Like, all right, is this the opening match? Is this the middle match, or is it the main event? I would be. I'd be interested to see like who's been having the best main events of a show, who's been having the openers, like because I really like the Swerve and Jay White match a lot.
Yeah, I also like the part where they're like,
Danielson and Andrade too.
Not everybody's getting finished. Like, so we roll up. So many people getting rolled up, and it's like, hey man, ain't no wrong with that. Look, as long as I see backs on mats, fine by me for 3 seconds. That's all I care about. This whole thing of like, distraction finish and all that bullshit. Get that out of here. That's the thing. That's the thing that always bothered me when it came to like all the distraction finishes and the battle ring and all that kind of stuff and the belt shots. Like, bro, this AEW. They can you can beat somebody with a roll up. It's fine. If you build towards it, it works. You know how I know? Because Danielson was beating niggas with roll ups for years.
Yeah. Oh wow! Look at Zion Williamson tonight. 36 points, 13 to 17. Look at that.
That's the thing. He's not bad. Like, he's good. The thing is, he's not consistent, and it's annoying because when he's inconsistent, people gonna be pointing out that weight. When it's like, when he goes out there and gets 35, ain't nobody talk about that weight then.
Yeah. Oh, he better get 35 every night then.
In a way, it's almost like AD, but it's like AD ain't out of shape. It's just people just talk about. Why don't you go out there and dominate every single night? Like, if it was so goddamn easy, wouldn't it just happen? Yeah. Like, yeah, man, that, people sometimes are good, 2 out of every 3 games as opposed to, or really good 2 out of every 3 games as opposed to just the consistency of like a LeBron. That ain't normal. That is not normal, especially for bigs in this age, but whatever.
Is there anything else in particular Kenny Omega had a match this week. Wrestled Ethan Page.
Yep.
Two of Canada's best wrestlers.
I thought it was 2 of Canada's biggest stars.
Yeah, man. So you don't usually get to see, like, this was just Kenny Omega just having a match. He had some shit. He was like, "Don't disrespect me," or whatever. Like, that was his response to the challenge from Ethan Page. Ethan Page has gotten himself in great shape once again. I don't know if it's going to lead to anything for him, but I feel like this is the best Ethan Page match I've seen in quite a while.
Yeah. I need more from him though. Like his whole character can't just be I'm in great shape. It can't be that.
Yeah,
right?
Muscles not going to write your ticket in AEW.
I mean, just anywhere. Like, all right. What's in the definition? I worked on lats this morning. Okay, you're in great shape. Cool. Like, you know, it's as we talked about, like, this is a soap opera about a fighting fed, right?
How does that help you in the ring?
Right. Like, has your improved physique and conditioning leads to more wins and losses? That's later to be seen, because now he's doing the thing with Tony Nese, right? On Ring of Honor. But yeah, like, we'll see. Like, you know, I like him as a promo. It's just but there hasn't been much to grab onto with him as a character because of, like, stop and start stuff and, like, whatever. What is Scorpio still alive? Scorpio Sky still alive?
Brother, I have no idea.
Okay, I just had to ask because, you know, he's on the first episode. He had a vignette for him on the first episode of Collision, and we ain't seen him since.
You know, he was there. Yeah. Was he banned from the building after that? I don't know.
When we see CM Punk in AEW before we see Scorpio Sky back?
I think you'll see Sky back.
Okay, we'll see.
Like, I would be shocked if, like I feel like,
is he the devil?
No, oh my God! If he's the devil, I will fucking die laughing. Oh my God! The devil is black.
I didn't even think of that part. Jesus Christ!
Oh,
boy.
Know, if it was me, I would put Scorpio Sky with the Bucks, like, and whatever the fuck they bring.
So they can do like SCU again.
No, like, officially align them with the Bucks, and, you know, whoever else they have planned.
I mean, the vignette was heelish. I will say that, but okay.
You know, snap the fingers. You know, do your step. You do it all by yourself.
Was that really necessary?
No, it just happened. We were there. I don't really have much more, but I did watch. I was watching. I showed Catherine Aja Khan versus Manami Toyota for a Big A Universe.
Really?
Whatever. And bro, that opening sequence, she was like, like when she saw her catch that power bomb on the top rope, or whatever. So I watched.
Did you tell her she was fine because it was happening in '94? She had a lot of
I didn't ruin it. I just let her, you know. Let her experience.
I'm saying, like, did she know that it was like an old match, not a new match? And she's like, she
I
gasped.
thought it was an old match. She was like, "What year is this?" or whatever. I was like, "Yeah, it was like 1994 or whatever."
Was she like that? Was she impressed by knowing that? Because I'm pretty sure she knows, like, old wrestling.
So
it was not.
I think she was
back in 94.
Because I did my annual watch of Survivor Series 1989 this weekend, and she was, you know, right there watching it. I was like, all right, this is 5 years after what we just kind of watched. And it's completely different or whatever. Like, so I watched.
I bet she went back and was like, these are lazy, slow born men.
But one thing I did not know about, like, that match, like the Aja Khan Manami Toyota, that was part of a tournament that night. And that was the first round. Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
I watched the second round. I watched Aja Khan's second round match. I gotta watch the final still. But her and Dynamite Kansai, they kicked the holy shit out of each other after this. Like, oh my God, it was so great.
I mean, they had plenty of time. That show was 10 hours or whatever.
Yeah, I think the second round match only went like 12 minutes or whatever.
But I'm saying, like, they had plenty of time to quote unquote recover because they had 10 hours.
Yeah. They had a while. But yeah, I was like, man, I'm gonna have to watch the end of that. But yeah, I just thought I'd mention.
Okay. Yeah. Trying to think. Oh, I mean, we haven't talked about Samoa Joe. I will say this, like, Dynamite this week, I thought they had a great, like, setup in this promo thing that they got to, where, like, Renee's, like, at MJF's door, and then Heyman walks by.
Oh, that was awesome.
Yes, it was. It was. Because we got to talk about the devil thing, so we may as well talk about get the good part out the way in a way, and then talk about this devil shit. So, yeah, like, he stops, or he walks through the shot like just on some, like as if it wasn't planned or whatever else, and then he stops, says, "You know, I got something for you." He's like, "You know what?" He looks in the camera and says, "Swerve, you broke into my house and you played with my kid. You know, I know what I've won and I know what I've lost, and I've lost this round, but I know what you want more than anything. And he's like, I will make sure you never win. I was like, yes, petty white man, let's get it. Let's get it. He said, with my last dying breath, I will make sure this so-and-so will not win this fucking belt. I was like, I love it. That's forever smoke. That was forever smoke. That man looked at that camera and said, what you wish for with all your dreams and desires, I will be there to make sure you will never get into your dying day. You will go in that casket before you grab that fucking belt. I love the pettiness. And that's how you can lose that particular part of the rivalry and then get back right to it. Because when they go back to it, people will remember that. I'm gonna remember that.
It's going to be epic. Like, I think those two are going to be long-time rivals.
Yeah. Yeah. So, MJF comes out, and he talks about how, you had, y'all traded STDs, which that was a killer fucking line, because they was out there swallowing paint. And then, they go back and forth about, like, back and forth about all the things is going on between them. And since they've had that, their encounter that one time a few years ago, and it seemed like they were headed, he didn't back up. Like, as we talked about, like,
Hangman was on the list. He was on the list originally.
Yeah. So we talked about, like, the Jay White, the MJF, the Swerve, and the Hangman is like, yeah, they can dust that off whenever. And they talked about that, and, Hangman got pissed off, and he was like about to start fighting. Samoa Joe breaks it up and said, hey, man, we got more press matters. We got to go fight. We got to go fight the Devil's henchmen, masked henchmen. So they broke it up. Out comes Joe later on the show. He comes down for MJF to come out there. The lights cut out. The Devil is in the production truck, or he had the production truck. Can I make my retribution jokes now or no? It's too late.
I'm
sure I'm not.
I don't know.
With this. He's hacking. He's fucking with the production truck.
They got merch now. The Devil has merch.
I was gonna get to it, but let's get to it now. This motherfucker is hijacking these shows, but now he's on the payroll and he's selling merch. That's the dumbest fucking meta thing ever.
There has to be, like, they gotta stop this, man.
You just gotta think about that for 5 seconds and be like, no, that's a dumb idea.
Like, the payroll department, all you need to see is the first and last name that, has enrolled this shit.
Not even that part about finding out his identity is like why would Tony Khan sign this asshole that's fucking up his shows and fucking with his champion and fucking up his title scene for the past couple months and injuring his talent? Why doesn't he call the police on this asshole?
Throwing people through real glass, busting glass over their head. We come back, MJF face down, ass up, and
what's wrong with you,
man? with glass just everywhere and the belt laid down. I immediately put that man on a meme with Kobe Bryant, like looking like, look at this nigga. Like
when I saw it. No, I watched the show today. I did not watch it live or whatever else. So I watched it and I'm just like, this Scooby-Doo mystery ass shit, man. This fucking whodunit. They have ran with the whodunit.
It can turn out good. Like, that's
the thing. Like,
no one that you're like, oh, like, it's worth all that for this,
right?
Like,
now, get me wrong, we've seen good whodunits before.
Perry, who I like, it's like if it's all for Jack Perry, it's like, all right, now why did you have to act like this? Like, I don't get it.
Look,
and if it's MJF himself, oh my god, he's immediately put him in the coffin, and I'm not.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can put. Look, I got him now. I want him nominated now. Who gives a fuck about this? This is the least interesting thing about MJF right now.
Yeah, this is bad.
So,
look, Roddy threw out the wheelchair. I feel like some shit is being shedded right now. The feeling is starting to get restored.
C2 saved this company. Don't let no one tell you different. C2 has salvaged this company.
Yeah, it's been pretty awesome. Like,
once you get too far, once you get out of balance, you got, hey man, we got to get back to what we know. And what's that? Wrestling competition.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of wrestling matches as a wrestling fan. Don't. It's okay. I promise.
Don't be afraid of a league table. Numbers. You know. X's, O's, triangles, you know.
Like, it can't just be the numbers, adding up the numbers. It can't just be the math that's scaring people off.
It's got to be the table, like, all in conjunction. Like, you're like, hold on, I can't, you know. But I'm like, yo, y'all ain't never did a line graph before, like.
For me, I'm just like, you know, I'm just like, bro, like, so many, and I talked to you about this before, like, so many of these things that we watch in sports are basically round robin tournaments, but they're more elaborate, more convoluted versions of a round robin tournament, right? Like, determining who's going to win the SEC in college football every single year, it's basically a round robin tournament. Like, it's not clean, right? Like, not everybody has the same common opponents 100%, but like, you play everybody in your division, and then you play some ancillary games that are also in the conference, right? And then at the end of that, whoever has the best record wins the division. It's a more convoluted version of round robin. So when people talk about, like, I don't get this or they get that, I'm just like, you watch NFL? Yeah. 14 of the fucking games are common opponents. Like, if you're in the NFL, right? Let's say you're in the AFC East, right? Let's say NFC East, because, you know, Cowboys, Giants, Washington, Dallas, right? I say Dallas, Philly. Right? All those 4 teams play each other twice. That's 6 games. All those 4 teams also play another conference, another division in their conference. That's 4 like opponents. Those same teams in that conference in the AFC East also play the same division in the AFC. That's 4 more. That's 14 games of your, you know, now 17 game schedule. That's a round robin. You didn't realize it, but the NFL is a fucking round robin. So it's like, what is, and then like, I'm explaining to people and they're like, oh, I've seen someone was offending about how they don't get it. I'm like, and then I explain like, whatever. And they're like, well, I've watched it. I've watched you before. I know what it is. Then what are you defending? The right people don't know how to count? People don't know math? Basic arithmetic? This is weird, man. Just weird.
Maybe the Japanese fans are smarter than us. Like, maybe. They seem to do just fine, but, you know.
They got a better educational system than us.
Blinded by rage. Blinded by hate. Jesus, man.
Yeah. Riho back.
Riho is back. She did not bring the pipe, unfortunately.
She has talked about people asking about the pipe though.
Yep, I saw her on the IG stories.
Yeah.
With that, so I popped when I saw Riho come back. They're gonna put her in there with timeless Tony Storm.
Yep.
So I think when Tony Storm pins her, I'm gonna want to rush the Capitol.
Now, yikes!
I'll be upset.
Now, do we have to be worried about this white woman from the 1940s?
Yes.
Talk about a Japanese woman.
Yes, that's what I was worried about with Sheeta when she was around, but they avoided it there. I'm like, all right, let's.
I forgot about that. All right, she knows how to avoid that. Okay, good. Now, can we talk about the women's matchups on Dynamite and Collision this week?
Go ahead.
All right, so it was an AEW Women's Championship match between Tony Storm, and Sky Blue.
That might have been Sky Blue's best match ever, actually.
Yeah, and it wasn't good.
Look, so in 99 tries.
Yeah, mission accomplished. Fine match. Mission accomplished. And then on Collision, we had Willow Nightingale versus Mercedes Martinez. Tony Khan. What are you up to?
I mean,
what are you up to? Are you much like when Anthony Bowens won the trios titles and said, "This is now the house of ass"? Because
I mean, you
that
talk
don't seem
about
like no
Anthony
coincidence to
Bowens.
me.
You talk about Anthony Bowens. He's standing next to Billy Gunn, who was once known as the Ass Man. Maybe there's the new Ass Man in this business, and his name is Tony Khan.
Can we get that printed up on a shirt? Tony Khan, the Ass Man.
I actually saw somebody suggesting shirts in a forum, and I think I've got to do it. I've got to do it. I've got to make a Hangman Was Right shirt. I've got to do it.
Oh, about Punk? Oh.
I've got to do it.
No. There's a better one. And I feel like I was the only person that was on it.
CM Punk is broke.
Yes. Moxley said that shit, and I was like, why did he say that line? What's going on, or whatever else? I remember saying like, man, Moxley on to something here. He said that shit, and no one's ever mentioned, but he brought that up for no reason. And ever since Punk showed back on WWE, everyone was saying, it's money. It's like, hey man, Moxley was right. You're broke. You're broke. Yeah. Yeah, man. Just it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Yeah. Oh, back to the women's division AEW. So I made my joke before. Tony Storm and Sky Blue. A Bentley like a 300 like a Bentley until a Bentley pull up. I saw a new one recently. I just saw a picture of a husky standing next to a wolf, and yeah. Same analogy.
Man, yeah. So
hopefully y'all find someone age appropriate to lust after. Hopefully,
one of these days.
Or you can just not lust after the wrestlers.
So they had. I was looking at it. There was a big promo confrontation between Seth Rollins and CM Punk tonight. A lot of people were saying Seth Rollins essentially just like repurposed the Hangman promo to CM Punk that originally started all this kind of, but like in his own, he's defending WWE way. It's exactly what I kind of predicted for them to do. I'm going to check out the whole segment eventually, if I remember, and I'll see what it feels like. But maybe Seth Rollins cut a money promo. Maybe he did.
Oh yeah.
I don't count on it, but
do you get the Xbox mission accomplished finally?
Oh my god. Achievement unlocked.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like. I don't know. This whole thing about defending bro. I think he's gonna look lame the more he goes into this.
When you defend the stale institution, you come off as a dork. You just do.
Yeah.
Maybe I will say this. Maybe from our perspective, he will. But given that so many of the fans that CM Punk grabbed or had got a hold of are now basically in AEW or like left WWE. Maybe there aren't that many people around to be like, hey, this is kind of lame, this is kind of corny. You are like upholding this shitty institution.
What are you rebelling against? Bro, there's a lot of this.
The people that wanted to rebel have left. Yeah. Right, like Punk. Last week he cut some promo on SmackDown when he was talking about like, the brawl out shit, and people
like,
crickets. People like, huh? I don't know what that is.
Yeah,
I don't watch anything outside of WWE. I don't know what you're talking about.
That means they don't watch the news. They don't watch anything. Like,
I didn't mean that. Take it too far. Take it too far. I didn't mean that. I didn't mean it that way.
If that programming don't say McMahon on it, they don't check it out. But yeah. I think it's going to be a constant adjustment in because like WWE for the first time in so long has like people that like what they do generally,
I mean, or the majority of the people that are watching it do.
Yeah. And
I think it's a better way to
it's
say it.
like, well, how does CM Punk navigate in that environment? I don't know. So we'll see.
I mean, it should be pretty simple. Don't bang on WWE anymore and just like say really mean things to the person you're opposite against, right? Like do what you were doing with like the beginning of MJF or Kingston. Don't delve into WWE, your issues with WWE because you're back now. You cut that promo saying you're back and you're home.
You're home.
Right. You gotta stand on that lie.
This is gonna be disgusting and nasty.
Hey,
every step of the way.
It's the wrestling biz, brother.
They made their bed like.
Oh, you talking about his fans? Okay, yeah.
They gonna have to. They gonna have to.
Got the code.
Yeah, they gotta follow. Like they gotta had a tweets from 3 months ago deleted. They gotta switch it all up. You just start new accounts. So I don't have to put you on the Summer Jam screen.
So do we talk about do we get to talk about Big Hope and Christian? I
forgot about that. I had forgot about that. I actually liked the match until like I saw the Shayna Wayne stuff coming. I was like, man, this don't look good. And then like this is coming a mile. I should have seen this coming from miles away. And then like it looked bad, and I was like, I think she's jumped the shark.
So I watched it today. I was unspoiled. The second she came down, I messaged you. I was like, Shayna Wayne finna screw Big Cope, ain't she? And then she actually did, and I was like, God damn it. Like, damn it. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Like, her Nick Wayne put on the shelf, Kill Switch put on the shelf, nowhere for Christian to hide. It don't make sense for Big Hope to have that belt. Of course she comes out and she does the swerve. She swerves you or whatever else because it ain't a swerve promotion. So of course, like we've never done it. So it's like do the whole thing where it's like now Christian, this married man, is gonna have a second missus or whatever else or whatever.
He's not married anymore.
Christian's not married anymore. Okay, whatever. Anyway, it's gonna be some shit where it's like I'm going to do whatever I can to be in the good graces of my son because he's the only thing I have left. That's a better way of saying that story, or just describing that story. And it's going to get real nasty between Shayna Wayne and Christian in front of Nick Wayne, possibly, and uncomfortable and whatever. That's what y'all want to be. That's what y'all want to do to be on TV. Good for y'all. But yeah, man, like.
And Nick Wayne got to leave his mom at home, man. Like, this is bad for him long term.
Can't rent a car.
I think.
Stupid. Can't rent a car. Mom,
you got to ride with somebody. Goddamn.
Can you drive your credit card for the hearse, please?
Bro, this don't work if Nick if Nick Wayne is a babyface, and then like the way she was like kind of acting like she was trying to stand up for him, that doesn't work either. Like,
right, your parents can't fight for you in real life or in pro wrestling. You're right. Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's like I think we need to find ways to. I'm not advocating to take money from people or anything like that, but there's got to be another plan here, I think.
I mean, there are ways for her to supplement her income, but we're not here to talk about that right now. Shout out to OnlyFans.
Leave that alone.
Look, you hear the way they be talking about her.
Hey, seen her in person.
Shayna Wayne got here and sell these feet pics. She can rack up. Look, she can make as much. She can make as much money as LeBron James and Anthony Davis this weekend. So anyway, yeah, man. Like,
hey, man, what percentage of the One Nation Radio audience has ever bought a foot picture before?
I don't know, but I'm guarantee it's more than one.
Check in. Check in. If it's more than,
I guarantee it's more than zero. It's a non-zero possibility. Yeah.
If you ever no judgment here, you know.
Don't speak for me on that. Don't speak for me. If you out here buying feet pics, you sick, boy. You sick. Like,
come check in.
Hey man, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah. Is that in the show?
I think that's a great place to end it.
Yeah. That's in the show. Thanks to Rich fucking cracking up. That's in the show. Be sure to rate some of your app you use and listen to this with. We don't have the stream up, but if you are listening from listen to the podcast, go to the show notes, go to the show description, and you can find the link to our website. You can donate there. You can donate there. There will not be any links to feet pics from me or Rich, but you can
At
donate
all.
still. You can still donate. And be sure to listen to those shows network. Besides One Nation Radio, you have Keepin It Strong Style. You have All Things Elite, and you have M's WWE Adventure. Thanks for listening, y'all.
Peace.
Tony Storm, you are not slick. We see you out here with no shoes on. We know what you're doing.